Wars or conflicts are often studied only from a purely historical and cultural point of view, and therefore stripped of all those social and linguistic implications defining their basis. If it is true that wars are the result of the orchestrations carried out by despotic leaders, then it is equally true that the way in which intentions, goals, and ideologies are communicated is as important as the fulfillment of the latter, and perhaps even more. The dynamics there were the consecratio temporum that characterized the First and Second World Wars are steeped in and permeated by linguistic assets that carry such semantical and cultural load that should be remembered almost as much as those who use them. The main focus of my paper is how propaganda exploited the linguistic component of the Japanese language to insinuate itself into the Japanese social fabric during the Second World War. Propaganda schemes are well known to the most of us, right? A repetition of a message to ensure, by means of redundancy, addiction to the political message conveyed, a semantic and morphological simplification of the message to ensure direct comprehension and to exclude any implication that might provide cues for a different view from the one advertised. An emotional appeal that appeals to burning and pressing issues in order to obtain an emotional reaction in the target public. Remember that any propaganda campaign of any kind makes a shared sentiment the main glue to succeed in uniting the masses under one common ideology. And in the end, a visual symbolism that plays a crucial role in propaganda campaigns, succeeding in conveying a message without actually having to use any tool other than images. Focusing on the Japanese sphere, we can see how Hirohito's Japanese Empire was able to use both language and national cultural and artistic phenomena to convey a precise message to the masses. From a linguistic point of view, the propaganda slogans that haunted the lives of the Japanese people during those years are endless. From phrases like "everyone at war" to expressions like total extermination of the West, the lives of individuals were swept away by a wave of senseless violence and rage that moved the minds of everyone, from the oldest to the youngest, to mobilize against a common enemy. From a cultural point of view, Japan implemented a very useful move to keep the population's morale high, while gathering approval. And that's the use of the kamishibai, in English the paper theater. Not even toys were spared from this macabre strategy, forming a fundamental building block for the construction of a precise mental scheme in the minds of the young, easily subjugated. The Japanese objective was, like any self-respecting totalitarian state, to gain overwhelming control over a sphere of influence that came to be known as the East Asian Co-Prosperity Sphere. Despite the fact that the subjugated countries were offered a fictitious freedom of choice, the truth translated into a capillary control of every national arrangement, turning these foreign citizens into second-class Japanese citizens. The empire's capitulation was facilitated by the dropping of the 2 atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, that wiped out the lives of 300,000 people within seconds. Despite the fact that the empire's actions were deplorable, who really has the right to take such a decision and willingly sacrifice the lives of innocent people to win a war that is already over? If the propaganda made by Japan is seen as erroneous, harmful, and indeed polarizing, then the US counterpart also suffers from the same errors. The truth is that propaganda, like any other phenomenon that occurs during a conflict, is the doom of human freedom, the ruin of and condemnation of free thinking, and ultimately the excuse for inhuman action.